dovetailing from that, how would you fund HB 2261? Once again, how would you fund 2261?
Okay, so McCleary lawsuit.
Sorry, does everybody know what that is?
Okay, I can give you a few seconds. 2261 was a bill that passed 2 years ago that said, here's the class size for basic education, here's how many nurses you need, how many counselors, parent engagement counselor, here's how many hours you need for students to be in school. So it actually redefined basic education and funded it according to those needs. If that helps, I hope so. So there is a joint task force on education funding that we have formed in the legislature. A McCleary lawsuit said, you need to fund this, it's your paramount duty, so figure out how to do it. And so we formed this task force, and once again, this won't be the first time, we've asked to look at how the tax structure works in Washington State, property tax, sales tax, how do we go out there and get a few more dollars. I will honestly tell you, in this economy, we probably are going to have to say any new dollars that come in, we need to direct them to education, to fund basic ed. That's our paramount duty, any new dollars. Can we get more efficient? Yes. Yes, we can get more efficient and gain a few dollars there. But the amount of dollars that this bill calls for is $8 billion by 2018. So it's going to take the public to understand, do you want to educate the children? Is that what you care about? Well, then let's go out together and figure out how to do it. Because it's got to come from people. Because if I pass a water tax or a Coke tax or a candy tax, you know what they'll do? They'll say, no, 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 no. And it goes away like they did last time. So it doesn't matter what I do. The people can go up and say, no, we don't want to fund that. And when they do that on the ballot, then I can't make it happen. It's going to take all of you together.
Dawn, same question. How would you fund HB 2261?
Sorry.
What's the name of that thing? That's funny.
I'll share with you when we're done.
Okay, thanks. Well, I'd just like to address a statement that Rosemary just made. She said, maybe if I was with you every week. I was lobbying you every week for this, and as led rep of my board, I pushed for an endorsement from the North Shore School Board for this bill. So I think I was there for that at every turn. But I did like that my opponent brought up Rob McKenna's plan to start moving money toward education, all extra money toward education. I believe that that has to be done. I would agree. I agree with his plan. I believe in capping some of the expenses that are going on and looking for efficiencies. I am doorbelling a lot, and while I doorbell, I am hearing from so many people about places where they work in so many different areas for government where there's waste, and they give me their cards and they promise to come and talk to me when I'm in the Senate about where they see blatant waste going on. So I would like to see that handled in government first and foremost. And then, you know, something I did say today to someone I talked to was that we're missing trust. We're missing trust of government. And I'm not saying that that's all on my opponent's head at all. But we are missing trust in government. And this is a big reason why I'm running. I'm pretty trustworthy. I'm a Boy Scout and a Girl Scout. And I know what it looks like when you're just being truthful and you're just doing what you say you're going to do. I know what it looks like to be accountable for the decisions you make and to stand up and explain why you made the decisions, not go back and forth on them and fight with them. So I want to see trust return to Olympia. I'd love to see it return to Washington, D.C., but that's even further away, and I don't know how that's going to happen. But I think once we have trust, when we are doing what we say we're doing, when we're actually prioritizing education in our funding instead of cutting it year after year after year, or not prioritizing it as a percentage of the budget like has happened over the past 20 years. I think when people see us doing that, then they'll know that we're doing what we've said we were going to do and what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be focusing on the primary objective of this state and funding education appropriately. Is that an answer to the question?
All right. Next question, and we'll start with you, Don. Here's the question. What is your view on charter schools? If you support them, how do you plan on fighting to implement them? If you don't support them, why don't you? And what plans do you have to give parents more school choice? I'll repeat that. What's your view on charter schools? If you support them, what are you going to do to fight for them? If you don't, what alternatives do you have to give parents more choice?
Well, reform is one of the reasons I'm running for this. I'd say it's the biggest reason. I believe we need to reform education in this state. Charter schools is one tool in that bucket of reform. I am in favor of charter schools, and this is why. You know, I have a son-in-law who's a teacher in Austin, Texas. And this May, I was at his wedding, and he looked at me and he goes, "What do you mean by reform?" Because he's a teacher, and we hear that all the time, right? What do you mean by reform? What is that? I said, well, our state doesn't include charter schools in its arsenal to help educate kids. And he looked at me and he was like, "You're kidding." I went, "No." And he said, "Oh, that's silly." I think that the rest of the states, 41 states in the United States of America, have accepted charter schools, and things haven't gone down the toilet. As a matter of fact, in those 41 states, there's actually progress being made toward closing the achievement gap. But in the handful of of states that don't allow charter schools, the achievement gap is growing, as it is here in Washington State. We are growing an achievement gap, and we're currently graduating 48% of our black males. Where I'm from, that's not okay. They don't have less gray matter than the white males. It's not acceptable. There are charter schools out there that will address that problem. We have not addressed it, even though we've said we're addressing it. There was a letter in the Seattle Times recently where someone responded to an article by Lee Finn, and she was writing in favor of charter schools. And his answer was, okay, it's taken us 30 years to figure out how to educate affluent white kids. I went, "You're kidding me, right?" And that's what he said. Now we'll turn our attention to those in poverty and those in color. And that's just wrong.
Oh, okay, so let's start with 1 million children in our public schools. 1 million children, regardless of their color or their nationality or who they are, they deserve the opportunity to learn. I talked to a mom the other day whose daughter graduated from Inglewood High School and the University of Washington, and she teaches in a charter school in Cincinnati. And she says the reason we do so well is that parents are engaged, the children are engaged, and they stay there because we make sure they're engaged. Otherwise, they do not belong to our school. I went to a private school my whole life. If I didn't follow the rules, if my parents didn't follow the rules, if they were engaged, I was gone. So what public education does for our kids is it says the door is open, you all come in. No matter what you bring with you, we will work with it the best we can. I don't care what your color is, I don't care what your language is. We will all be challenged every day. Those teachers stand up in front of those classrooms and they do the best they can for those children. And that's what I love about public education. What we really need to do, if we're going to look at choice, is look at the jobs that are out there today. They're in science, technology, engineering, and math. And I'm so proud to tell you that 10 years ago, I opened up STEM schools for middle schools. We started with 5 certified middle school teachers. Today we have over 1,000 in our middle schools. And today, Melanie Terrace High School has 95 students coming in from their middle school ready to go into science, technology, engineering, math. Those are the jobs today for those kids. That's where we need to concentrate our energy. It's what we have to do. Charter schools is not an answer. It's another silver bullet that says we can help some kids, but not all. I'm about helping all kids.